Part 3 of Prometheus Bound by Aeschylus, translated by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Enter Oceanus.
I reached the bourne of my weary road, where I could see and answer thee, Prometheus, in thine agony. On the back of the quick-winged bird I glode, and I bridled him in with the will of a god. And know thy sorrow aches in me, constrained by the force of kin. Nay, though that tie were all undone, for the life of none beneath the sun would I seek a larger benison than I seek for thine. And thou shalt learn my words are truth, that no fair parlance of the mouth grows falsely out of mine. Then give me a deed to prove my faith, for no faster friend is named in breath than I, Oceanus, am thine.
Ha! What has brought thee? Hast thou also come to look upon my woe? How hast thou dared to leave the depths called after thee, the caves self-hewn and self-roofed with spontaneous rock, to visit earth, the mother of my chain? Hast come indeed to view my doom, and mourn that I should sorrow thus? Gaze on, and see how I, the fast friend of your Zeus, how I, the erector of the empire in his hand, am bent beneath that hand in this despair.
Prometheus I behold, and I would fain exhort thee, though already subtle enough, to a better wisdom. Titan, know thyself, and take new softness to thy manners, since a new king rules the gods. With words like these, harsh words and sharp ones, thou wilt fling abroad, Zeus haply, though he sit so far and high, may hear thee do it. And so this wrath of his, which now affects thee fiercely, shall appear a mere child's sport at vengeance. Wretched god, rather dismiss the passion which thou hast, and seek a change from grief. Perhaps I seem to address thee with old sores and outworn sense. Yet such a curse, Prometheus, waits indeed on lips that speak too proudly. Nevertheless, thou dost not grow the meeker, nor dost yield to evil rule the sooner, yearning still to swell the account of grief with other griefs than what are borne. Beseech thee, use me then for counsel. Do not spurn against the pricks, seeing that who reigns by cruelty, and not by right. And now I go from hence, and will endeavour if a power of mine can break thy fetters through. For thee, be calm, and smooth thy words from passion. Knowest thou not of perfect knowledge, thou who knowest too much, that where the tongue wags, ruin never lags?
I gratulate thee, who hast shared and dared all things with me, except their penalty. But now cease, leave these thoughts. It cannot be that thou shouldst move him, he may not be moved. And thou, beware lest this way thou meet woe.
Ever thou wert more wise for others' use than for thine own. The event, and not the word, attests it to me. Yet where now I rush, thy wisdom hath no power to drag me back, because I glory in this aim, to win for thee deliverance from thy pangs, as a free gift from Zeus.
Why, there again, I give thee gratulation and applause. Thou lackest no good will. But as for deeds, do not. 'Twere all done vainly, helping naught, whatever thou wouldst do. Rather take rest, and keep thyself from evil. If I grieve, I do not therefore wish to multiply the griefs of others. Verily, not so, for still my brother's doom doth vex my soul. My brother Atlas, standing in the west, shouldering the column of the heaven and earth, meet burden for a giant. And I have seen, and pitied as I saw, the earth-born one, the habitant of old Cilician caves, the great war-monster of the 100 heads, all taken and bowed beneath the violent hand. Typhon the fierce, who did resist the gods, and, hissing slaughter from his dreadful jaws, did flash out from his eyes a glory askance, as if to storm the throne of Zeus. But so the sleepless arrow of Zeus flew straight to him, the headlong bolt of thunder breathing flame, and struck him downward from his eminence of boastful exultation. Through the soul it struck him mainly, and his strength was shrunk to ashes, thunder-blasted. Now he lies, a helpless trunk supinely, at full length beside the strait of ocean, overridden by roots of Etna, high upon whose tops Hephaestus sits and strikes the flashing oar, from which the great fire rivers shall burst away hereafter, and devour with savage jaws the equal plains of fruitful Sicily. Such passion he shall boil back in hot darts of an insatiate fury and sow of flame. Fallen Typhon, howsoever struck and charred by Zeus's bolted thunder. But for thee, thou art not so unlearned as to need my teaching. Let thy knowledge save thyself. I quaff the full cup of a present doom, and wait till Zeus's soul hath quenched its wrath.
Hast thou no knowledge, then, of this, Prometheus? That words do medicine anger?
If the word with seasonable softness touch the heart, and, where the soul is ulcerous, sear it not with any rudeness.
With a noble aim to dare as nobly, is there harm in that? Dost thou discern it? Teach me.
I discern an empty wish, an unresultive work.
Then let me bear the harm of punishment, since it most profits that the truly wise should seem not wise at all.
And this will seem a crime of mine.
In truth, thine argument sends me back home.
Because thy grief for me might cast thee down to hate.
The hate of him who sits in you king on the general throne?
Beware of him, lest thine heart grieve by him.
Thy doom, Prometheus, be my teacher.
Go, depart, beware, and keep the mind thou hast.
Thy words drive after as I rush before. Lo, my 4-footed bird sweeps smooth and wide the flats of air with balanced pinions, glad to bend his knee at home in the ocean's stall.
Exit Oceanus. First strophe.
I moan thy fate. I moan for thee, Prometheus, from my restless eyes, drop by drop intermittently, a trickling stream of tears supplies my cheeks all wet from fountains free, because that Zeus, the sternly bold, whose law is taken from his breast, uplifts his sceptre manifest over the gods of old.
First antistrophe.
All the land is moaning with a murmured plaint today, all the mortal nations, having habitations near the holy Asia, are a dirge intoning for thine honour and thy brothers, once majestic beyond others, in the old belief, now are groaning in the groaning of thy deep-voiced grief.
Second strophe.
Mourn the virgin's habitant of the Chalcian land, who with white calm bosoms stand in the battle's roar, mourn the Scythian tribes that haunt the verge of earth, Maeotis' shore.
Second antistrophe.
And Arabia's battle crown, and the dwellers in the lofty town, Mount Caucasus sublimely nears, an iron squadron thundering down, with the sharp proud spears. But one other have I seen to remain, by invincible pain, bound and vanquished. One Titan, 'twas Atlas, who bears, in a curse from the gods, by that strength of his own which he evermore wears, the weight of the heaven on his shoulder alone, while he sighs up the stars, and the ocean tides bellow, in bursting their bars. Murmurs stir the profound, and black Hades roars up through the chasm of the ground, and the founts of the pure running rivers moan low in the pathos of woe.
Beseech you, think not I am silent thus through pride or scorn. I only gnaw my heart with meditation, seeing myself so wronged, for so their honours to these new-made gods, what other gave but I, and shared them out with distribution? Ay, but here I am dumb, for here I should repeat your knowledge to you, if I spake aught. List rather to the works I did for mortals, and how, fools before, I made them wise and true in aim of soul. And I will tell you, not as taunting them, but teaching you the intention of my gifts, how, first beholding, they beheld in vain, and hearing, heard not, but, like shapes in dreams, mixed all things wildly down the tedious time, nor knew to build a house against the sun, with wicketed sides, nor any woodwork knew, but lived, like silly ants, beneath the ground in hollow caves unsunned. There came to them no steadfast sign of winter, nor of spring, flower perfumed, nor of autumn, full of fruit, but all things they did blindly and lawlessly, until I taught them how the stars do rise, and set in mystery, and devised for them number, the inducer of philosophies, the synthesis of letters, and beside the artificer of all things, memory, that sweet muse-mother. I was first to yoke the servile beasts in couples, carrying an heir-doom of man's burdens on their backs. I joined to chariots steeds that love the bit they champ at, the chief pomp of golden ease. And no one else but I achieved, beside the seamen's chariots, wandering on the brine with linen wings. And I, oh miserable, who did devise for mortals all these arts, have no device left now to save myself from the woe I suffer.
Very shameful woe thou sufferest, and dost stagger from the sense, bewildered, like a bad leech falling sick. Thou art faint at heart, and canst not find the drugs required to save thyself.
Hearken the rest, and marvel further, what more arts and means I did invent. This greatest, if a man fell sick, there was no cure, no esculent, nor chrism, nor liquid, but for lack of drugs men pined and wasted, till I showed to them those mixtures of emollient remedies, whereby they might be rescued from disease. I fixed the various rules of mantic art, discerned the vision from the common dream, and made them wise in vocal auguries, hard to interpret, and to find as plain the wayside omens, flights of crook-clawed birds, showed which are, by their nature, fortunate, and which not so, and what the food of each, and what the hates, affections, social needs of all to one another, and what sign of visceral lightness, colored to a shade, may charm the genial gods, and what fair spots commend the lung and liver, burning so, the limbs encased in fat, and the long chine I led my mortals on to an art abstruse, and cleared their eyes to the image in the fire, erst filmed in dark. Enough said now of this. And for those helps of man hid underground, the iron and the brass, silver and gold, can any dare say that he found them out before me? None, I know, unless he choose to vaunt a vain lie. Learn the whole in brief, that all arts came to mortals from Prometheus.
Give mortals no unseasonable help, neglecting thine own sorrow, since for me, I have hoped to see thee break these fetters still, and stand up strong as Zeus.
This ends not thus. The oracular fate ordains. I must be bowed by infinite woes and pangs to escape this chain. Necessity is stronger than mine art.
Who holds the helm of that necessity?
The threefold fates and the unforgetting Furies.
Is Zeus less absolute than these are?
Yes, and therefore cannot fly what is ordained.
What is ordained for Zeus, except to be a king forever?
'Tis too early yet for thee to learn it. Ask no more.
Perhaps thy secret may be holy.
Turn thy mind to another matter. This it is not time to speak abroad, but to veil utterly in silence still. For by that secret kept, I 'scape this chain's dishonor and its woe.
Chorus, first strophe.
Never, oh never, may Zeus the All-Giver wrestle down from his throne, in that might of his own, to antagonize mine. Never let me delay to bend on my way to the gods of the shrine, where the altar is full of the blood of the bull, near the tossing brine of Ocean my father. Nor my sin, be it sped in the word that is said, but my vow, be it rather consummated, nor evermore fail, nor evermore pine.
First antistrophe.
'Tis sweet to have life lengthened out with hopes that are brave by the very doubt, till the spirit swells bold with the joys foretold. But I thrill to behold thee victim doomed by the countless cares and the drear despairs, lifelong consumed. And all because thou, who art fearless now, with Zeus above, dost overflow from mankind below with a free-souled reverent love. Oh, friend, behold and see, what's all the beauty of humanity? Can it be fair? What's all the strength? Is it strong? And what hope can they bear, these dying livers, living one day long? And seest thou not, my friend, how feeble and slow, and like a dream doth go, this poor blind manhood, drifted from its end, and how no mortal wranglings can confuse the harmony of Zeus?
I have learnt these things from the sorrow in thy face. Another song did drop its wings upon my lips in other days, when round the bath and round the bed, the hymeneal chant instead, I sang for thee and smiled, And thou didst lead with gifts and vows Hesione, my father's child, to be thy wedded spouse.
End of part 3.